So this next clip, I'm just going to play because to me, it's rather odd.
Okay.
We'll give a listen. It has everything to do with how the parks are now a major source of income, but maybe not for the reasons you think. So here we go.
We've now spent more time in parks than we have over the years. Usually we get right into media, but the importance of parks, as you know, it's really interesting just how investors need to shift their focus on what's actually driving Disney's earnings.
Yeah, and I think a few things happened there. First of all those investments paid off. So suddenly, I can't remember the specific numbers, Alexia is here, but I think we doubled OI in those parks over a relatively short period of time. I know, just to give you an example, I think when I became CEO in 2005, Disneyland, the whole thing was making $100 million. That's well over $1 billion OI business today. So it's grown enormously, and we should feel great about that. And so just by those statistics alone, it would have become more important and a topic of conversation.
Right.
But the other thing that happened is, we had a movie division that was, throwing off an enormous amount of we call operating income and cash flow. And they faltered on COVID, and then they had some misses creatively. And we aim to turn that around. Actually, I'm heartened by the results just this past weekend. We have 3 big movies this summer. The first one was Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, did really well. And I feel great about Inside Out 2, and I feel great about Deadpool, and we can talk about the slate well into the future. But as movies faltered, Parks and Resorts became a larger share of our bottom line. And of course, traditional media channels, cable and satellite channels, played an enormous role in essentially delivery to the bottom line. And we know what's happened there. So you had the movie business hitting a speed bump of sorts. You had the continued erosion of traditional media. We had our losses in streaming, which we've reduced by billions. And now we have to turn that into a growth business. So I think if you look at the company over the next 5 years, you'll see continued growth in Parks and Resorts, and they will remain significant. You'll see growth in streaming. I'm not saying how much, how fast, but we believe that should be a double-digit margin business. We're not saying by when, but that's what it should be.
So just to preface what I'm about to say, Iger in his world sees him only having 4 main units that report to him. That's film and television, both of which those units control streaming, ESPN, and the experiences products, which includes the cruise line and the parks, right? So essentially what Iger is saying to me is that the experiences products are their top revenue generator solely due to the faltering of those other units, which is what you just said, such as film, television, ESPN. And to me, it's like saying, if I'm in a race with the 3 of you guys, all 4 of us, and y'all slow down, I win, right?
Right.
And I don't win because I'm faster than you guys, but only because y'all slow down because y'all probably ran 12 other races before I raced you guys. And I'll go back to the point about volume. So y'all had the volume, y'all putting out all this kind of stuff, doing all these kind of races. And then I come along and, maybe I didn't have as many volume because I was being neglected as a park. There wasn't as much happening with me. So I wasn't as tired or whatever. And so by the time I raced y'all, the only reason why I won is because you guys were tired. And that's it. That's what it sounds like he's saying to me. It's like the other units faltered. Film had a mess up. Traditional television not doing so well. ESPN, we're working on that. And what comes out on top? The parks. So he can say, the parks are the top revenue generator. But not because you've put so much into it. You literally ignored it for how many years? The only one because everybody else got tired.
That and because they robbed the parks to pay for all their crappy movies.
Yeah, the whole flywheel concept. Yes, exactly. It's all for that. So it's like he makes this statement that's just like, I don't know if that's a good argument to make, or makes me feel, if I was an investor, makes me feel confident.
It definitely would not make me feel. In fact, the whole part about, we're not really worried about the U.S. because we're doing really, really well in China.
Yes.
I mean, man, that's disgusting.
As a U.S. consumer, I'm like, okay, I guess that doesn't really bode well for what I can expect in the future.
Disney was synonymous with America. I mean, and not to say that, it's bad that it's overseas. No, it's great that it's overseas, but you're doing better overseas because everything you open is a joint venture with another company that's keeping you honest, because they don't have to worry about supporting a struggling streaming service or bad creative or a sports network that's faltering. I mean, they're not worrying about. They're worrying about making their theme parks a great place for people to visit. And that's why the parks over there get the better attractions, get things that you would make a point to go see that. We haven't had an attraction open like that since Rise of the Resistance.
Right. Yeah, I haven't felt Lightwave for any kind of attraction since then.
And I'd like to know how they expect to grow their businesses in the U.S. when the parks are such a huge part of this, and they're about ready to take a huge hit when Epic Universe comes.
Yeah. Oh, he's not worried about that. We'll get to that later.
Have you seen what we've built and what we are still building? Epic Universe, they can do what the hell they want. Have you seen what we built? What we've built?
What they built over there?
Dude, I got Tiana's Bayou Adventure Mountain Splash.
Extravaganza.
Yeah. With Mama Odie with the mountain and pushing you down and stuff. Have you seen that?
Oh man, I don't know if I'm ready to experience the power of this.
You're not Epic Universe with your monsters and your dragons and training and stuff like that.
About that. That's
I gotta buy you mountain.
Gotta buy you mountain.
Who your daddy?
Okay, I'm stopping.
That's all good.
I was about to say you're losing your cheeriness.
I like
we've seen
That's all good.
positive Kirk over here.
I know. I see that.
Oh,
I see that.